when last we left our intrepid adventurers, they were fighting a bunch of blobs.
Well, they had smashed a bunch of tiles.
Well, that was getting to that point.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it was those fade beasts that came up from the
Yeah.
or
They were on a
not
ledge.
fade beasts. I'll have to redact that now.
Oh yeah, because that's copyright.
Rift beasts.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter.
No, I know.
It could just be that they didn't have a lot of color to them.
But it might. Anyway, whatever.
They actually did have a lot of color to them. So anyway,
And we just left. Hank had just killed the two puffballs. One, he did the one that had ongoing damage, and it had just died.
Yeah.
And so that was like the big red freaky controller, and there was still that, which was the red tentacle thing, and the pink jellyfish with blue lights.
Yeah.
Or was it blue with pink lights? I kept forgetting.
it was pink with blue lights. I remember that quite clearly. For some reason, I don't know. That was the brute. I had the role swapped in my mind. I thought that the red one was the brute and the jellyfish was the controller, but it turns out it's the other way around. That makes no difference to anything at all. But
it was funny because Brian well, it was funny because everyone was talking, and so Brian took the opportunity to explain and point out, and everyone could be like, no, and be like, oh, this is this, no, this is this, no, and eventually it became clear that like everyone else had in their mind who they were except for Brian, who was the one explaining it.
Yeah, but that was the only thing I'd swap, was the physical appearances of two of the things.
And they still had a ton of minions left. I've discovered that this party is not so good with the minions because they have one controller and he doesn't have a lot of area effects, so it's just.
I had some area effects. Well, I had an area effect thing.
Basically we have two characters, each with one area effect as an encounter. Yeah. And that's it.
So anyway, and the other thing that happened right beforehand, I mean, we're fighting these things. We killed the puffballs. Aderon hit Cricket. Which kind of
and Cricket was like, I'm sorry.
Put Cricket into a bit of a tizzy there, and so the fight was then continuing. We were all up, I believe, at that point. We were all at positive hit points, but some of us were in kind of poor shape. I think Hank was pretty banged up.
Hank got pretty badly hurt. But one of the most interesting things that happened early in the combat, in my mind, is Hank tried to hit the red tentacle thing, and he missed, which triggered its ability to force him to slide through squares and repeat the attack against an ally. So Hank runs up to the tentacle thing after smashing the puffballs, misses it, and staggers over and smashes Cricket in the face.
Right. So now Cricket's been hit by Aderon and Hank.
Immediately after that.
And Cricket was freaking out after Aderon.
Yeah.
Now it's been confirmed. He's done something horrible.
Immediately after that, Croesus attempts to hit the red thing and misses. Staggers over to Cricket and stabs her with his spear. It's not a spear, but whatever.
Cricket now believes she deserves to die. Whatever she's done.
And I don't know if it was the beginning of that round or the next round, but that was when Aurora still had that if you start next to her, you take 5 damage. So Aurora's 5 damage went off. So in that one round, every single party member hurt Cricket.
So everyone hit Cricket except Aurora, whose pure hatred of Cricket was enough to hurt her. Yeah, Cricket kind of had a little bit of a meltdown in this fight.
What was sort of spawned by...
Who was it that took her down? Because she went to 0 hit points, but it wasn't one of the party members that did it, was it?
I remember. It was... She was badly hurt, and Hank was badly hurt, and they were all next to each other because of what had just happened.
Yeah.
And Hank got taken down. I don't remember by what, but he got hurt, and he went down, and all the minions start vibrating and getting excited and they had all not gone. So they all swarm him, and we realized like they're going to kill him permanently if they get him. There's enough of them, and so Cricket did her thing where she swaps places, and that was sufficient to make it so that because they'd already all moved, they couldn't all get him. Some of them could still get him, but anyway, they all piled onto Cricket instead. And I don't know if that's what took her down, or I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was.
But it wasn't enough to permanently kill anyone.
Yeah.
And it was also that time...
She was hoping to make up for whatever she'd done.
Yeah.
She would have done it even if she didn't have to make up for whatever she'd done. She still felt like,
maybe this will redeem me.
Or something, or whatever. For me, I don't know if she was thinking very clearly at that point.
Yeah, she was already freaking out. And then...
It got worse when Croesus tried to explain things to her.
Yeah, so Croesus got hit right after that, and the pink jellyfish with blue lights. It had this. It had like these spectral tentacles that like wrap into your mind, and so like attached to your mind. And every time it hits you in succession, it does 1d6 more damage. So it was getting to the point where it was doing. I think it did 66 damage to Croesus, which is nasty against a second level character.
Yeah.
And it took him down. So he went down, and I forget just who healed who and potions were used, but Croesus came back and he was pretty messed up because he was just freaking out about these rift things in the first place, saying it's a wrong dream, and then he's taken out by this thing that's wrapping his tendrils around its mind, and he sort of woke up in a maddened stupor.
He was completely out of it. He was insane. Completely blah.
It was funny. I think he used a cinematic point, I think, because somehow, and he ended up getting potioned or something. He woke up,
and then he potioned Cricket, because Cricket was like right next to him.
Yeah, he potioned Cricket and Hank, I think.
And Hank.
And he woke. I think Cricket might have already been awake by then.
Yeah. No, I think he did bring Hank up because
he did bring Hank up for sure.
He called Hank. What was it? He called.
I don't remember the name.
I know Cricket was called Chris,
and the other one was like a P name or something, wasn't it?
Pheasant.
Yeah, it was something like that. Pheasant or something.
Pheasant.
Let's say Pheasant. I don't think that's quite right.
Yeah.
And so he just wakes him up. I was like, Pheasant, you gotta wake up, and he gives him a potion, slaps him, and Hank had been like drained almost to death by psychic energy. So I attacked his will, and he succeeded. And I said, for one round, you believe that you're Pheasant. Whoever Croesus' maddened idea of who Pheasant is, that's who you think you are for a round. And apparently, it's some monk who fights with his bare hands. So Hank just got up and was like, yeah, I'm Pheasant, and starts punching guys and he goes to Cricket and said something like, remember Chris, sword and shield,
spear and shield. And now Cricket didn't believe she was Chris because that would be crazy.
Yeah.
But Croesus has a spear, and he's going spear and shield. So I'm like, up your shield, okay, up your shield. So
she was already like just freaked out because everyone was attacking her. And so now,
I was gonna do my best to act as Croesus' shield.
It was sort of interesting. There was sort of a bit of madness going on.
Yeah, three of the party members at that point were completely freaked out, either literally insane or driven to total hysteria.
Yeah, it was good. It was sort of at the end of because Aurora did the diplomacy to try to calm people down, and she did quite well. And it was sort of interesting because after that round, Hank is like attacking guys, and he's like, I'm not Pheasant, and where it went from there.
Yeah.
But
I'll kill that guy.
Yeah, it just was sort of an awesome little nexus of insanity that happened to go off there. I was a little bit scared for the party because like those things are so nasty how they kill you when you're down. But
we didn't have any area things, so.
But they
reduce the monsters' levels because like the monsters you're describing are like 4 or 5.
The minions are were like 1s, but they were like 4s and 5s.
Yeah,
but
that's pretty tough for a second level party.
They handled it fine. I like it's fun when it's hard.
We nearly died so much.
Yeah.
Here's where.
Yeah.
There's a reason they're suffering.
Yeah.
Well, it's a rift. You don't screw around with that crap.
That's true, yeah.
Some weird pink jellyfish with blue lights will come and kill you. But
fair enough.
After that, things kind of took a turn because I think they They popped a lot of minions, I think, shortly after that. Like, I don't remember just how it all went, but
by that point, most of them had temporary hit points, so they weren't really minions. But
that's another thing too, because they figured out that like when they drain your energy when you're unconscious, they get 10 hit points. So now they have 11 hit points.
It was pretty obvious.
Substantial, so they really have 22.
Well, no, because they still have their weird thing where like
I thought they do have its substantial keyword. I'm pretty sure they do.
You're probably right, they do. That didn't occur to me.
Yeah.
I just kept their special ability.
Okay.
Their first hit is a 50% miss chance.
Yeah.
I didn't really think about them actually having insubstantial.
Yeah, they're gross.
That would have made it a lot harder.
I use them, and then I let the party have them because of Hulkad. So
they were. Yeah, I didn't realize that would have made them even nastier. But they killed a bunch of minions.
And then we started focusing on the big guys.
Yeah, it was shortly after that they took down the red tentacle thing. I don't remember anything particularly memorable about that. They just basically were like they killed it till it died.
And then we did the same thing with the other one.
Yes.
I remember Cricket got the final blow of the combat. That was funny.
Yeah, it's true on the big brute thing too. It was looking really nasty for a while, and a lot of stuff was happening, and then suddenly, just the tables turned, and they just killed them all.
Yeah.
They got to a point where they weren't in constant danger, and then 2 rounds later,
that's usually how it goes.
I've noticed that too when I run these things.
Which is kind of ideal when if the end of the fight wraps up really quickly. That's really ideal.
Which is basically what happened.
Yeah.
But there wasn't anything particularly memorable that happened there. Like it wasn't that it dragged on and on. It's just that nothing super memorable happened. They just killed it till it died.
He's actually giving me a present only for me, please.
And then as soon as the fight was over, as soon as the fight was over, Cricket just dropped her weapons and was totally I'm so sorry, whatever I did wrong. And
yeah, and people were comforting her, and Hank's. It was funny because Hank said something to Croesus I don't know what you're talking about, but he said, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm not Pheasant. And Croesus was like, of course you're not Pheasant. As if, what on earth are you talking about? And Cricket said something along the same lines, I'm not Chris. Yeah, why would you think that you're Pheasant and Chris? You're nothing like them.
I'll totally be here.
So that happened, and the party was fairly banged up, and there was some talk of having an extended rest or just having a short rest. But the thing that really changed it was a ritual that
Cricket has a ritual that allows her to redistribute healing surges amongst the party.
That one's good.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny. I've decided that ritual is related to the pain slave bonding magic.
Oh,
yeah. It's of course not the same thing, but
done.
But when they invented pain slave bonding, it was derived from that.
That's a precursor.
Yeah.
The prerequisite.
And that's basically the best that'll work on a satyr, because you can't pain bond a satyr, but you can use that. So.
Considering our environment.
So I had Cricket mention that she had learned that ritual back in the temple, and I figure that's something that they try and teach them to try and make them better substitutes.
Yeah.
So, but that made it so we only needed a short rest, or we took a 50-minute rest kind of a thing, as opposed to heading back and sort of camping out for the night, because they would have wanted to go back to the safe zone, not to this area that's open to the rift.
Yeah.
So. They rested, and the whole time
that pixie
thing was taunting them and mocking them and saying very poorly formed limericks to mock them and stuff.
Yeah, especially painful for a bard.
Yeah, its rhyming was awful. It was there was stuff I don't know if I said this last time, but I don't know. There once was a shifter named Hank who fell on the floor and I did spank. He really sucked, and he's an idiot, and he's gonna die.
Yeah.
Those are his limericks. But the thing that I really did not expect, however,
Yes, this was bizarre.
is that Aurora decided to try to befriend him and like try to talk to him and find out like, you know, who is he and why is he doing this? And so so she's trying to talk to him, and I was like, okay, this is going to be ridiculously hard. Like it's just like this guy. So I said,
He's a psychopath.
I said, okay, this is going to be ridiculously hard. I'm using my standard of like, let's try to use the level more than anything. So I said, okay, this is like hard. I'm going to make this hard for like level 10.
Yeah.
But Aurora's diplomacy is crazy, and she rolls a 20. She succeeds. I set the DC at, I think it was 26, and she rolled 30 or something. So yeah, it was bizarre. So she succeeded, and so at that point I was like, what am I going to do? So they had some back and forth, and he's
become Aurora's friend, but he's still a complete psychopath.
Yeah, he sort of admits that like all he really loves is hurting other people. That's like what he likes. But Aurora mentioned like something about like, oh, I don't want you to hurt my friends, and he asks, what's it like to have friends? And she says, oh, it's nice, and talks about friends, and then he goes silent, sort of runs off or whatever.
So suddenly it's become a My Little Pony episode.
Yeah, he seems to be genuinely shaken up, and he stops mocking them for a while. So they continue on.
So we go back to the place where we fought those jellies and stuff, and it looks like there's a path that goes. It's like there's a narrow ledge along the rift. The path goes out there, and we check it out, and it becomes apparent that the rubble was piled up to make this narrow ledge. And we're like, oh yeah, it's a trap. There's going to be like little paddles or whatever to flip you off, or things will fall, or stuff will attack, or what have you. It'll be terrible. Let's not go that way. Let's do the DM's nightmare. Let's tunnel through the wall. So we go to the rubble next to it, and we dig a hole through the rubble. And sure enough, on the other side, there's a passage that sort of got walled off by this wall of rubble. The rubble was trying to force us to go like this.
It did take an hour, though.
Well worth it.
Yeah, they spent an hour digging through the wall rather than...
We're not in a hurry.
You're not?
There's enough food down here to last quite a while. So we tunneled through the wall, and the pixie started taunting again.
Yeah, and he started asking, he was taunting again, mocking Hank, and he started asking, basically, so, Aurora, suppose all your comrades down here were to die in some trap. Would you consider being my friend? And the thing is, Aurora's kind of like honest, so she said sort of, well, I don't want that, but I suppose if they were all dead and I was trapped down here with you, I would try to be your friend. You know, because that's the truth, right?
Yeah.
And he was sort of bargaining back and forth, like, you know, supposedly only two of them died, or Hank died. Anyway, he now has in his head that like
if he kills off enough of the party.
Yeah, and so they were trying to talk to him, and they found out his name was Rip Roar from talking to him. They're trying to convince him or find out about like the traps, but he's now just singing off to himself. Roar and Rip Roar sitting in a tree, watching Hank die. Oh golly gee!
Can I top up your water for you?
Sure. Thanks.
Oh, I doubt you would have said that. That rhymes too well.
Yeah, I think it was worse than that. But
yeah, I remember it was
some
one of those things that sort of trails off into
not rhyming.
Yeah.
So anyway, he seems to be indicating that like he's gonna, you know, he doesn't want it to be a TPK, but you know he wouldn't mind it, especially if Hank were to die at least.
Yeah.
So we should make Aurora walk in front.
That might be a good strategy, actually.
Human seal. No, Cricket is trying to walk in front.
But But other than that, they basically burrowed through that wall and they found some piles of rubble. And they found a big twisted piece of rusted metal, exactly like the one they landed on. And it's like square on one end and it's all twisted and jagged on the other. And it has the tubes. And it has a statue on it. It's like made of rusted metal. It's an abstract, rotund, voluptuous ooze made of rusted metal. A big statue.
We earned some in-character comedy points related to this statue. Croesus managed to use the line, "Look at the brains on her." I suggested it out of character, but he used it in character.
Right. Because he was mentioning like out of character that like the Oblin don't have genders, but they take on a gender to make other people comfortable. So he was making some lewd remark just as a poor attempt to like try to make him seem male.
And that was when I think it was Aderon was commenting about how only Cricket and Hank actually reproduce and have sex. And at which point Cricket was completely scandalized by this notion.
Yeah.
And, it's just not proper. Oh, yeah, it was...
because the thought...
mongrel way was...
Yeah, someone mentioned the mongrel way. Well, she was scandalized about the thought of her and Hank because she considers herself an animal and Hank is a person.
Yeah. Right. I mean, of course, mongrels did that way back in the past. But that was scandalous, too. It's just, you get over it.
Well, shifters did that.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, yeah.
Probably mongrels too. None of this, she was human at the time excuse.
That's actually where we end up leaving it.
Yeah.
I did something horrible. I have no idea what it was. But everyone, they attacked me. They all apologized afterwards too, which makes it even more confusing. I have no idea what I did, but I will try really hard not to do it again. Oh, that was so painful. I've never been beaten so badly. I've never been beaten before like that. This is most unusual. I really have no idea. But everyone afterwards seems to have forgiven me for whatever it was I did. I'll try to find out so that perhaps I won't do it again. But everyone forgave me. And then, oh, it was so nice. We had a ritual of shared vitality. I was able to heal them. And I healed myself with a little left over. I wouldn't want to be weak when they need me. And now we're forging on ahead. And Aurora seems to have I wouldn't say tamed that pixie, or fairy, or creature. But at least it's a little bit communicative now. I wonder if perhaps we can finally get out of this without any more people being hurt.
It was a tough fight. It looked really grim, actually. Cricket was down, Hank was down, Croesus was down a couple times. Thankfully, we managed to prevail. There were yellow jelly things, and they tried to feed on our brains, and that wasn't very nice. That kind of sucked. But we prevailed, and we killed them, and we killed the red tentacle thing and the blue and pink octopus jellyfish thing. It was all good. Aurora seems to have made a new friend. That's her way. I don't know if I approve, but I approve of not getting attacked by him, so that's good.
26, 27, 28, 29, Stop. Look east. It's good. It's good. Just grass. Look right up to the wall. It's safe. It's clear. Look north. It's good. Turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here comes Boren. Hey Boren. Hey Grosus. It's all clear, Grosus. It's all clear, Boren. You're okay. See, you never left the Grey Wall. The Grey Wall's safe. It protects the world, and we protect it. And you never left there. You're the same as you always were, and the Grey Wall doesn't change. Everything keeps changing. Keeps changing and changing and changing. It keeps changing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I think Croesus is getting worse. I'm really worried about him. He thought I was Phasm, and he thought Cricket was Chris with Spear and Shield or something. I don't understand, but it's weird. I don't know who Phasm is. I'm not Phasm. I'm Hank.
Today I made a new friend. His name is Riproar. He's a rather strange creature. Well, I haven't really... Have we seen him? We haven't seen him. We've just heard him. He likes to tease Hank. I don't think he's very nice. And it's getting a little awkward because apparently he would like to engage in some kind of intercourse. But I'm not of his species or even of his planet, so I don't think that will really work very well. Also, well, my friend Molly used to always say that there's a little good in everyone, but I'm not sure if she's correct. But, you never know. So I'm going to try to get to know him better. And maybe, who knows, maybe he'll find it in his heart to help us out of here. And if not, well, at least he stopped teasing Hank quite so much. So, all in all, it's been a good day. No one completely died forever. And, I critically hit something. Wait, how would I describe that? I hit it in the torso, because it didn't have a torso.
No, you hit it in the body.
I hit it in the body, but it didn't really have a body. It was just a big goo dog. I slayed a goo dog. The end.